Okay, so the past 2 days we've been talking arithmetic. This way, today and tomorrow we're going to be talking about geometric. Okay, and those are the two main types of sequences and series that are very, very formula driven and based. Okay, just like with the arithmetic, the first day we talked about the sequences, the second day we talked about the series. That's what we're going to do with these. So we're just going to talk about creating the terms of the sequence today and finding specific terms. Tomorrow we're going to talk about adding them up. Okay, and then there is one other little twist. We actually have 5 formulas total. There's 3 of them that come with the geometric. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at what we've got here. So you've got to fill in some blanks, right? Let's go ahead and get some blanks filled in. So in order to create a geometric sequence, the arithmetic was the addition subtraction, so geometric is multiplication division, okay? So the way we create it, or we create division, because remember we subtracted to get our common difference the last time, is we use a ratio, because a ratio is just division. So the ratios have to be the same, meaning the second term divided by the first term is the same as the third divided by the second is the same as the fourth divided by the third. As long as those are all equal, then we know we've got a common ratio. We call it R. And just like I don't always call it common difference, I'll say difference. I'll just say ratio, but it means common ratio. Okay? Everybody got it? All right. Let's look at this one here. So we're going to do the same thing we did with the arithmetic. We're going to try to determine if it's geometric. So when it comes time for the test, which will be fairly quickly here, okay, the question isn't going to say determine if it's geometric, determine if it's arithmetic. It's going to say, is the sequence arithmetic, geometric, or neither? Okay, so you'd go through and test your differences, then you'd go through and test your ratios, and if neither of those worked, then you know it's neither. All right, so let's check our ratio. So I got to take the second term, divide by the first term. So my second is 4 divided by my first is 2. What do we end up with? 2. All right, then I'm going to take my third term and divide by my first or second term. So third divided by second, what do I get? 2. All right, I usually try to check 3 because every so often in that third set it doesn't work. Okay. All right, so what am I going to divide this time? 16 over 8, which is? 2. So is it geometric? Yes, with a common ratio of 2. All right. I want you guys to try, everybody try example 2. Okay? You may need your calculators, that's okay. So find your ratios on that one, your first 3. Okay, what's your first, what do you divide out first? Which is? 3. Okay, then what? Good, which is? 3. Okay, and then? Which is? Did it work? Yes, so our rate and our ratio is 3. Okay, let's try this one. Okay, so ratio equals 12 divided by 7. That's not going to simplify. 19 divided by 12. Is that one working? No. But look at this. You don't need to write this down. Look at this. 12 minus 7 is 5. 19 minus 12 is 5. 24 minus 19 is... So that one was arithmetic, right? Okay. So that's an example of you'd have to check both when it comes time for the test. All right, what's wrong?
19 minus 12 is 5.
It isn't? What is it? 7. Oh. Apparently it's not arithmetic either. Okay. Apparently I'm not subtracting correctly today. All right, let's look at 4. Okay, so this is something that's going to pop up. You're going to have to do fraction work, okay? So we've got 1/9 divided by negative 1/3. So remember when you have that complex fraction, we have to flip and multiply, all right? So how many times does 3 go into 9? 3. So this one turns out to be negative 1/3. Watch the sign because there's a negative hanging right there. Okay. All right. Now we're going to try negative 1/27 divided by 1/9. Now we are in an advanced math class. Could I automatically write it as the flipped reciprocal? You probably could. Okay. 9 into 27, how many times? 3. So I see negative 1/3 again, but we want to test 3 of them to just make sure that we're on the right track. Divided by negative 1/27. So 1 over 81 times negative 27 over 1. How many times does 27 go into 81? 3. So what do you know? Negative 1/3. So did that one work? Yes. And the ratio is negative 1/3. Okay. We good with example 4? Okay. All right, we're going to write the first 5 terms of the geometric sequence. So the way that we do this is they gave us the first term, they gave us the ratio, so couldn't I just keep multiplying? Okay. So to get the next term, I would do 2 times 4, which is 8. Okay. To get the next term, I would do 8 times 4, which is times 32. All right, and then I do 32 times 4, which is... You all have calculators. All right, and then 128 times 4, which is 512. The other way you could think about this, and that sometimes, like, because on the test, it's going to be written a little bit differently. It will be written 2, and then all I really have to do is multiply 2 times 4, right? Multiply 8 times 4. Multiply 32 times 4. I don't necessarily have to write out the work. I'm kind of trying to show you the thought process. But I would just fill in the blanks and write the list if it was me. Okay? All right, so let's look at the next one. What do you have to multiply each one by now? 2. So to get a sub 2, I do 3 times 2, which is 6. A sub 3, I'm going to do 6 times 2, which is 12. A sub 4, 12 times 2, which is 24. And to get my 5th term, 24 times 2, which is 48. And again, if you want to write it as the list, that's okay too. All right. Go ahead and write down that formula. Make sure you get the superscripts and subscripts all in the right places. Okay? Alright, so that is our formula for the nth term of a geometric sequence. And remember I said for the test, I would make sure I know how to match the type, the name of the formula to the formula. Okay? So, because guess what? The problem is going to say find the nth term of the geometric sequence, and then you could just easily go to the formula. Okay? The first 5 questions are matching. So that's the nth term, right? Or the last term. Okay. This is the what? First term. That hasn't changed. Ratio, or R is the common ratio. And N is what? Number of terms. Or term number. All right, so we're going to see this formatted a couple of different ways. It's the same thing, okay? All right, so they want us to find the nth term. We're simply going to apply this formula, right? You guys should be at the stage that even on some kind of standardized test, if they gave you a formula and they told you what each part meant, you should be able to apply the formula, right? So all this is just applying a formula. So what is my first term? 8. Good. What's my ratio? -3/4. I'm going to write it out this time, but after this I'll probably do the work in my head. My n value is 9 minus 1, so we would do 8 times -3/4 to the 8th power. That is not something I expect you to do without a calculator, so go ahead, grab your calculator. If you can get a fraction, great, but I'll take either or both answers today, in fraction or decimal. The geometric, they get big really, really fast, the numbers. So the calculator's pretty necessary for it. What did we get? 8192. This is right. Not -48. Okay. All right. Make sure that when you do this, okay, some tips, that 8 has to go on the outside. It might force you to write a multiplication symbol. I don't know. And then you have a negative inside there, and you close the parentheses and do the 8th power on the outside of the parentheses. And I would use your fraction, that control divide. Okay? Did anybody get the decimal version?
0.801.
Okay. All right. I don't know off the top of my head if the book goes. Now, looking at that one, you have a decimal that you start with, so how would I expect the answer to look? I expect a decimal answer, right? All right, so we're going to look at what's your n value? 15. Okay, what's your first term? 20. Ratio? Good. 15 minus 1. Do I really need to write down 15 minus 1? What should I write down? 14. All right, punch the buttons. What are we getting? 39.599. Everybody okay? 39.599? Yeah. Awesome. 2 lines. That was nice, wasn't it? All right. It says find the formula for the nth term of the geometric sequence, then find the nth indicated term of the sequence. So we're kind of doing 2 things. They want us to put it in the formula. It's really, actually, it's the same thing we've been doing. We have one little additional step here. Okay? So, the 7th term would be a sub 7 equals. What is your a sub 1? 3. Ooh, what's the ratio? Could I figure it out? What would I do to figure it out?
36 divided by 3.
Good, which is 12. So my ratio is 12, and then n is 7. What's 7 minus 1? 6. Okay, punch the buttons. This number's very large. What'd you get?
It's 8,957,952. We already said that.
I think it's 8,957,952.
Thank you. All right, so here's the thing, you guys. the two types of sequences that were sequences and series that we're looking at. The arithmetic, it grows like this, right? You add a little bit each time. Okay? So it's kind of making a line, isn't it? But the geometric, you start here and you multiply and you get bigger and you get bigger and you get bigger. You get big very, very fast. So it goes more toward that exponential. So that's why the number is getting really, really large really fast or really, really small really fast. Okay? So you're going to see bigger numbers. You're going to use your calculator on pretty much the whole test this next time. Okay? All right. That's it for today. All of 9 examples. So see those yellow things behind the board? Those are your books. You should go grab one and actually start working on this. Okay? Some of you might have to share with a partner because I don't think it's enough for everybody, but